Live from Dahlonega here at Lynn Cottrell Park for the final game of the Gold City Classic here from Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium between North Georgia and Emmanuel. Apologies for the technical difficulties to start this game out. This one is hit deep into center field and caught for the out. As we welcome you back to Dahlonega. In the bottom of the second inning, Emmanuel off to a hot start. They put their first run up on the board against North Georgia this weekend. Jenna Miles up to bat right now for North Georgia. Both of these teams looking for a little bit of redemption today. Emmanuel just came off of a 12-6 loss against Emory and Henry, who leaves the weekend unscathed and undefeated here in Dahlonega, North Georgia. They also suffered a loss to Emory and Henry earlier today via the run rule. Back-to-back losses for the Nighthawks in 6 innings by Emory and Henry. That a 4-12 loss for the Nighthawks. This one hit over to first, and it's going to be caught for the second out. And a heads-up play over there at second by Rocco. Or at third by Rocco. So that's going to bring up the DP, Natalie Ray. Batting order remains identical to what we saw earlier today from Coach O'Hare and the Nighthawks. This one is going to be inside for strike one. Reagan Garrett getting the start in the circle here for the Lions. We saw her earlier against Emory and Henry. Delivers the 0-1 to Ray and delivers ball one. Right earlier today, the DH went 1 for 2. That one hit did have a pair of RBIs attached to it. Sees ball two go past her. And the 2-1 to Ray, who ropes one over too short, but it's going to be caught for out number 3. And so Emmanuel keeps North Georgia off the board in the first. We're headed to the top of the second. Step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Back with you here in Dahlonega for inning number 2. Emmanuel with a 1-0 lead here over the Nighthawks. Put up their first run against North Georgia in the top of the first inning. Carrying over a little bit of momentum from their game against Emory and Henry. That a 6-12 loss, but the Lions kept it as competitive as they could. They played till the very end. They are still searching for their first win of the weekend. And after Garrett took care of a quick 3-up, 3-down for the Nighthawks, it's going to bring a third baseman, Rocco, back up to bat. Rocco skies this one into right center field. Laval Masonette shifts over for a quick out here in the top of the second. Getting the start in the circle for the Nighthawks is Gracie West. Delivers a ball. So 1-0 count, 1 out up on the board. Saw Gracie West earlier today against Emory and Henry. Well, the conditions for that game a little bit different from what we're seeing right now. It was raining earlier today and still falling a bit here, but was definitely playing a factor in the game earlier today. A lot of pitches that were outside of the zone for North Georgia. West pitched just .2 innings against Emory and Henry. Allowed 2 hits and 3 earned runs and walked a trio of batters. Delivers the pitch and delivers a strike. This will be Gracie West's first start of her collegiate career. Delivers the 3-1 pitch and delivers back-to-back strikes to fill up the count. And the payoff pitch outside for ball 4. That's going to put a runner on first here for Emory and Henry. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Victoria Epps. Lions bringing over their navy blue pinstripe uniforms from their game against Emory and Henry. Nighthawks still in the gray jerseys with the new NG logo. Bunt here is going to be fouled by Epps. So it's going to be an 0-1 count. Epps, a freshman out of Duluth, Georgia, takes the 0-1 and fouls this one out of play, so it's going to be an 0-2 count. Emmanuel's lineup remaining relatively the same as well to what we saw against Emory and Henry. And you got to give your flowers to the Wasps, leaving the weekend undefeated and taking down the number 3 team in the country in back-to-back games via the run rule. Very rarely do you see North Georgia get beat like that, and especially 2 games in a row. They're definitely making a statement early on here in 2025. West delivers the pitch, and she strikes out her first batter tonight. Puts a pair of outs up on the board. And it's going to bring up Eliana Cooper. Cooper, the junior catcher out of Nashville, Tennessee, and Grace Christian Academy. Takes a big swing at that one, but a miss for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch again inside for strike 2. These Nighthawk pitchers definitely a little more grip on the ball here in this Gold City Classic finale. The 0-2, this is going to be grounded to Roberts at third, who throws to Brumby at first for the out. It looks like they get. It's going to be the foul ball, so Cooper will get another crack at it here. So it's still an 0-2 count. And the pitch from West outside. Emmanuel off to a 1-7 start to the season. Their lone win coming against Lee University on the road in a 5-3 win back on February 2nd. The second of a 3-game series for the Lions. West delivers the pitch. This is going to get over the head of Brumby and trickle into right, so a pair of runners are going to be on first and third here for the Lions. And compared to what we saw yesterday from Emmanuel, they have definitely looked like a different team right out the gates here. North Georgia playing the first and third games of the day, so they've had some time off, especially because that game between Emmanuel and Emory and Henry, I think, went on a little bit longer than some people expected. So they've had some extended time to regroup and go back to the drawing board. And then Emmanuel coming off of their game against Emory and Henry. Both have their pros and cons. You know, Emmanuel may be a little worn out in this matchup, but they pretty much stay relatively in game mode. Only 30 minutes in between these two matchups. Be ball one or from Gracie West. And the pitch inside for a strike. So the count's going to be 1-1. Batting order flips over back to Varner. Ellie Varner, very impressive up to bat to start the season. Batting .471 coming into the weekend. Top 10 in the Conference Carolinas. Takes the pitch and fouls one out of play to push the count to 1-2. And you got to think Emmanuel's very glad to have these games able to go on here in Dahlonega with, you know, a handful have already taken off the schedule early on in the season. Supposed to play the Breeze Sorrento Kickoff Classic hosted by Lander. Those games canceled. Had a doubleheader against Tusculum on Wednesday that was postponed, most likely due to the weather here in the southeast. The 1-2 from West. Another foul ball, so we will stay put at the 1-2 count. That is going to be caught for out number 3. So we will go to the bottom of the second. North Georgia still trailing by a run to Emmanuel. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here in Dahlonega in the home half of the second. Nighthawks down a run to Emmanuel. And Carly Knowles is going to get the inning started here for the Nighthawks. Knowles rips one into left field, and it will drop for a base hit. Carly Knowles is going to go for two to stop in her tracks. Knowles, one of the leaders in the Peach Belt Conference in doubles this season, adds to her totals there, puts an early runner in scoring position for the Nighthawks. That's going to bring up the left fielder, Caitlin Johnson. Johnson, who has been one of the most consistent batters for this North Georgia team this season, did not have a hit against Emory and Henry. Just the second game this season that she has not recorded a hit in the game. Hits one into left, but it's going to be fouled. And Johnson today has already surpassed her plate appearances from last season, had 30 in all of 2024. And she has since passed that number here this weekend. She's going to get plenty more opportunities this year to show what she's capable of up to bat, and she has most definitely been up to the task this season. The 1-2 to Johnson. This is going to be grounded to short. Throw to first. Gets there on time. And Knowles will slide into third. Makes the job a bit easier for Laval Masonette, who's up to bat. Laval Masonette went 1 for 3 at the plate against Emory and Henry and scored a run when she was on base. Takes one upstairs. Takes one back inside for strike one. Going up against Reagan Garrett in the circle, a freshman out of Lyman, South Carolina. Posted an 8.25 ERA this season. This one will be fouled to push the count to 1-2. Saw her against North Georgia yesterday, pitched just .1 innings in that loss for the Lions. Allowed 2 hits, just 1 run. And an 8-0 win for the Nighthawks. Counts evened up at 2-2. The pitch to Tegan, who rips one over to third, and she will make it to first, and so runners will be on the corners here for the Nighthawks. It's going to be a tough play for Rocco to make over there at third. And Knowles wisely sliding back onto base with no outs as well. Brumby with a chance to tie this game up. Brumby in her third season here at the University of North Georgia. And the pickoff attempt at second, stolen base, and the Nighthawks tie this game up at 1-1. Heads up base running there for the Nighthawks as they get a stolen base and a run up on the board, evens things up at 1 apiece. That also a ball from Garrett to Brumby. Again, we still have some wet softballs out here with a lot of the assistant coaches out here today just constantly wiping them off with the towel over there in the dugout. as it has been a gloomy day here in Dahlonega. The 1-0 to Brumby. Outside for ball 2. Brumby also did not have a hit against Emory and Henry earlier today, so she's still looking for her first here on the final day of the Gold City Classic. Finds herself up in the count 3-0. And the pitch to Brumby. Watches ball 4 go past her. So she will make her way to first. A pair of runners on. Still just one out up on the board here for the Nighthawks. It brings the third baseman, Journey Roberts, up to bat. Roberts, a designated fielder. Last time out, she hits one deep into left field, and that one is going to be caught for the out, the second of the game. That one actually drifting into center field where Varner makes the grab. So now with 2 outs up on the board, Riley Moody will try to extend this inning here for North Georgia. Watches strike 1 go past her. Moody went 1 for 2 at the plate with an RBI against Emory and Henry earlier today. Hits one into left, but it's going to be fouled. It's now a quick 0-2 count for the shortstop. Pair of runners on here for North Georgia on first and second. Brumby on first, and Laval Masonette still over there on second. The 0-2 to Moody. Hits one deep into right field. It's going to be fouled, and a couple of Lions over there in the vicinity to try to hustle over and make the play. They could not. So we will stay at an 0-2 count. Sun has set. Lights are on here at the Hill. Perfect vibes for a game at Lynn Cottrell Park. This one's going to be fouled again by Moody. Had a busy day here in Dahlonega. North Georgia men's and women's basketball teams just wrapped up their games against USC Beaufort. Both teams coming away with wins in some pretty big PBC matchups. This one is hit deep into left field, and you can kiss that ball goodbye. Riley Moody with a moonshot to left field gives North Georgia their first lead tonight. Moody clearing the bases. Sending one all the way out to the terrace, a 3-run bomb, and just like that, the Nighthawks have taken a 3-run lead. And the 2-out rally lives on here for North Georgia. And the batting order flips back over to Sydney Reeves. Who takes ball 1. Reeves was 1 for 3 at the plate, scored a pair of runs when she was on base. That came earlier today against Emory and Henry. Struggled a little bit yesterday, but she started to find her footing again late. This one is smoked out into right, and this one is out of here. Back-to-back bombs for the Nighthawks as they have exploded here in the bottom of the second. 5 runs And a big lead for the Nighthawks as Reeves rips one over to the Jumbotron. Again, the two-out rally lives to see another day. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching substitution here for Emmanuel as they move on to their second of the game. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here in Dahlonega, and the new pitcher is Carly Forrester. As this one is smoked into left, and this one drops back at the wall. Jenna Miles is going to go for two, and the Nighthawk bats are red hot here in this inning. Back-to-back-to-back hits, two of those being bombs from Moody and Reeves, and Miles keeps it going. Brings up the DP, Natalie Ray. Ray, who has been on an absolute heater since being inserted into the starting lineup here for the Nighthawks. Is down in the count 0-2. Ray has a hit in every game for North Georgia this season. Takes the 0-2, grounds this to short, and that's going to trickle into left field. So Natalie Ray's going to get to second, and that's going to put Miles on third. Couple of base runners now in scoring position for the Peach Belt Conference Freshman of the Week, Carly Knowles. So Ray will make her way back to second. Knowles did have a hit on her first at-bat. And just like that, 5 different Nighthawks responsible for the 5 different hits here in this game. This one's going to be high for a ball. Knowles also scored the first run of the game for the Nighthawks. This one is going to be fouled. Evens up the count at 1-1. Knowles' on-base percentage 4th best in the Peach Belt Conference this season. She's going to take ball 2. Takes ball 3. Knowles was 4 for 9 at the plate last weekend. Had a trio of doubles, scored 5 runs and 3 RBIs in her first weekend here at the Hill. Takes ball 4. Good eye there from the freshman to juice the bases. Inning stays alive with Caitlin Johnson now up to bat. Takes another ball. We saw North Georgia had loaded the bases a couple times against Emory and Henry earlier today, and they were able to get a handful of runs out of it. Looking to potentially do the same here. Forster, an 8.11 ERA. This one is going to be fouled. So she takes one back in the count to move it to 2-1. Forster, a senior out of Sugar Hill, Georgia, and Lanier High School. Making her 5th appearance of the season. Pitched just over 14 innings. This one is, again, fouled into left field. So deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the second. The 2-2 to Johnson outside for ball 3. Another one of those is going to put a run up on the board here for North Georgia. And the payoff pitch. This is slammed into center field and caught for out number 3 by Varner. But the Nighthawks exploding for 5 runs here in the bottom of the second to take a 5-1 lead into the third. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Today's broadcast of the Nighthawk Sports Network is brought to you by Bryan Properties, the leader in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor and a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. Nighthawks head into the third with a 5-1 lead over Emmanuel. Lions struck first in the top of the first to take the lead. Nighthawks couldn't respond in the bottom of the first, and then a pair of home runs from Riley Moody and Sydney Reeves helped propel the Nighthawks to this 4-run lead that they head into the third with. First pitch from Gracie West this inning is going to be a ball. It's going to be the DH, Cassidy Jenkins, to lead things off here for the Lions. Takes a big swing at that one, but a miss to even up the count. Jenkins also doing some pitching for Emmanuel, has played a pair of complete games this season. Takes the 1-1, ropes one over to short. Moody could not come up with the ball, took a bounce off of her glove and gets into center field. So that's going to put a runner on first for the Lions. So that's going to bring Buffington up to bat. Watch a strike one go past her. Lions coming over from Franklin Springs, Georgia. Not too far from here, about an hour and a half east of Dahlonega. This one tipped and fouled back towards the press box here at the Hill. Count moves to 0-2. And the pitch from West. This one is going to be popped up into foul territory, and it's going to be caught. Puts an out up on the board. Still a runner on first for Emmanuel. Brings up the first baseman, Jaron Gibson. Watches another strike go past her there from West, who has really started to find a groove as she has been making a lot of appearances for North Georgia over the last couple of weekends. Coach O'Hare and Coach Medina, a lot of trust in their freshmen. Gets her swinging there for an 0-2 count. Gibson does have one of the 3 hits in this one for Emmanuel. Takes the 0-2 and takes ball 1. Another great crowd on hand for the finale for the Gold City Classic. Lots of North Georgia faithful in attendance and fans from Franklin Springs, Georgia coming over for Emmanuel. Another foul ball is going to keep this at a 1-2 count. This Emmanuel softball program has a new leader at the helm. Kenneth Bellamy was named the next head coach of the Lions back in August. He's made a couple of stops, was an assistant coach at Payne College. As this one is popped up into foul territory, and it's going to be dropped by the catcher, Knowles. So we'll stay at a 1-2 count. It's going to be a tough play for Knowles to make. But Coach Bellamy also played baseball for Payne College. Most recently served as the interim head coach at Georgia College, another school in the PBC. And funny enough, the first team he played against at GCSU was Emmanuel. Gracie West picks up another strikeout to put 2 outs up on the board. Still got the runner on first in Jenkins. The throw to second just gets away, and so runner will be in scoring position for the Lions. And a count back at home plate. The 1-0, this one is going to be grounded between first and second. Throw to first gets there on time as Miles and Brumby connect for the third out as they keep Emmanuel off the board in the third. We're headed to the home half. Let's see if North Georgia can extend this 4-run lead and follow up that amazing inning that they just had when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Dahlonega Resort and Vineyard is a quick drive from Atlanta, but a world apart from the noise and sprawl. Escape to the North Georgia mountains for your next weekend adventure, or book your next corporate outing at Dahlonega Resort and Vineyard today. Probably not the best weekend to book any sort of vacation and or corporate outing this weekend with all the rain that we've had here in Dahlonega. It's been quite chilly out as well. Weather that has been putting this weekend's games into question. But we continue to play. The show must go on. It's going to be taking Laval Masonette to lead off the inning here for the Nighthawks. Responsible for one of the 5 North Georgia hits so far in this game. Also responsible for one of the 5 North Georgia runs. The 2-0 inside for strike 1 from Forrester. And the 2-1. Again outside for ball 3. Nice eye there from Laval Masonette. Just a small sample size here in the early goings of the season, but these North Georgia bats have proven again to be some of the most dominant that you'll see in the conference. Not having to use them there for Laval Masonette as she makes her way to first. After drawing the 4-1 count, brings up Mary Seal Brumby. Brumby watches ball 1. Mary Seal, a member of the 2024 PBC All-Tournament team. Also part of the 2023 National Championship team. She took a big leap forward last season with an extended opportunity, both fielding and up to bat. Had 101 at-bats last season with a .347 batting average. Had a lot of highlight plays, including a walk-off base hit against Alabama Huntsville. This is going to be ball 4, and so Brumby watches 4 straight go past her. Put runners on first and second here for Journey Roberts. And it looks like Emmanuel is going to call a timeout here to talk things over in the circle. Lions just trying to escape Dahlonega with a win before they have to go on to play Newberry College on a doubleheader this Wednesday. They will stay in South Carolina to play USC Aiken in a doubleheader after that on Saturday the 22nd. Right now they've got their work cut out for them here against the number 3 team in the country. Things were looking up for them in the top of the first to take the lead against North Georgia. But a couple of blasts out the park here have really put North Georgia in a great position. This one's going to be fouled by Journey Roberts. Watches one low, and the runner will slide into third. Both runners advancing here for the Nighthawks. Brumby makes it to second, and Laval Masonette makes it to third. Puts a pair of runners in scoring position now for the third baseman, Journey Roberts. Roberts sees the 1-1 and sees ball 2. Roberts had a fly out last time she was up to bat. Takes the 2-1 and takes ball 3 low. Roberts, another one of those players that's getting a lot more opportunities this year compared to what we saw in 2024. And she takes ball 4. So some good eyes here from the Nighthawks. Again, juice the bases. And here comes Riley Moody. Fresh off of a home run on her last at-bat. Watches strike 1. That a 3-run blast from Riley Moody, her first home run of the season. Takes back-to-back strikes here to go down in the count 0-2. Moody batting .267 this season. Takes ball 1. This one will be fouled out of play, so we will stay put at the 1-2 count. That home run was Moody's 7th of her career here at North Georgia. She shows bunt here with no outs up on the board and a 1-2 count. Keeps this one fair to third, and the throw to first gets there on time, but the Nighthawks put another run up on the board as Laval Masonette comes home. This now a 5-run lead here for the Nighthawks. So runners remain in scoring position here for North Georgia. Batting order flips over to Sydney Reeves. Also fresh off of her home run. Takes ball 1. Reeves, the leader on this North Georgia team in home runs this season. That now her 3rd. She had one on her first at-bat as a Nighthawk back at the Gulf Shores Invitational. This one is hammered into right, and this one is out of here. Back-to-back blasts from Sydney Reeves. Having her best game of the weekend, and she extends North Georgia's lead to 8 runs. In the same spot, too, over there by the Jumbotron. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Again, apologize for the brief technical difficulties as we head to inning number 4 here in Dahlonega. Nighthawks have been stellar in this game, courtesy of the home run. Gracie West still in the circle here for the Nighthawks. Walked 3 batters and struck out 3. And she delivers ball 1. We mentioned earlier, this is the first start of Gracie West's collegiate career. Most innings she had pitched in a game up to this point was 2 against Lake Erie. Pitches ball 2. already with 3 strikeouts in this one. Previous high of the season was 1 in that game against Lake Erie. Also had 1 against Emmanuel earlier in the weekend. And she delivers strike 2 to even up the count. This one's going to be tipped and fouled, so we will stay put at the 2-2 count. Gracie West, a freshman out of Commerce, Georgia, and Commerce High School. Was the 2022-2023 Pitcher of the Year during her junior season with the Tigers. Was part of the all-region team. Dual sport athlete as well. Played basketball and track and field. So I guess a triple athlete in this case. Count still 2-2. This one is going to be ball 3, cuts it close. The third baseman, Abby Rocco, up to bat, who flew out on her first plate appearance. This one is hammered into center. It will drop in front of Reeves. This will be a base hit here for the Lions. And their 4th hit of the game. That's going to bring Passmore up to bat. The left fielder was walked on her first plate appearance. It looks like we are going to have a substitution here for Emmanuel. Count's going to be 1-0. Apologies, there is no substitution, just a different number for Passmore, rocking 24 today. Takes a strike. Sophomore out of Macon, Georgia, and Ruffland High School. West delivers the 1-1 and delivers another one right down the middle for strike 2. And the 1-2 pitch and another foul ball. Emmanuel coming off a 35-24 season last year. Won the 2nd most games in a season in program history. Made a run all the way to the Conference Carolinas Championship, where they won 21 of their 26 final games of the regular season, including 7 in a row to close things out. So they were a team that definitely caught fire late in the year as they started to figure things out. West delivers the 2-2, high for ball 3, so the count will run full. Payoff pitch coming up here from Gracie West. And she delivers. This is hit well into right, and another sensational play. Looked like it was going to be made by Laval Masonette, and it is, who comes up with the grab. Puts a pair of outs up on the board, too. And no runners on for Emmanuel. Gracie West has been dealing in this game, but the outfield for North Georgia has also made a handful of really, really sensational plays over the course of the weekend. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Epps. Takes the 0-1, grounds this over to Brumby at first, who gets back to make the tag on the base for out number 3. Nighthawks head in to the home half of the 4th with an 8-run lead over Emmanuel in the final game of the Gold City Classic. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Tonight's broadcast is presented to you in part by Coca-Cola, the official sideline partner of North Georgia Athletics. Now in the bottom of the 4th inning, Nighthawks have scored in back-to-back innings, trying to maintain that heading into the home half here. Nighthawks also with a busy schedule coming up, as they've had a couple of games canceled as well. We've got a game against Alabama Huntsville coming up. We just mentioned that earlier. A game that Mary Seal Brumby had a walk-off win against. That was back here at the Hill. The Nighthawks came back from trailing 5 runs in that game to win. We'll have a rematch in the Rocket City Softball Showcase on Wednesday at 4 in Madison, Alabama. Carly Knowles up to bat. Takes the pitch upstairs for ball 1. Knowles has reached base on both of her appearances up to bat. She's been walked, and she had a double in her other. The 1-1, this one skies into right field, back at the wall, and that one is gone. Another ball sent out of the park here. This one from Carly Knowles. And the Peach Belt Conference Freshman of the Week makes this a 10-1 ball game here at the Hill. The home runs are coming from all over this North Georgia lineup. Knowles adds one to the totals. Reeves with a pair. Moody has one. And it's been a party here in Dahlonega. The lights come on a Saturday night. And it's been all North Georgia here in this game. Brings Caitlin Johnson up to bat. Takes one high. That one may have gotten a piece of her bat. It is going to be ruled a ball. So she's up in the count 1-0. That last home run from Carly Knowles, the first of her collegiate career. This one is going to be fouled. Something about the Jumbotron here at the Hill. That's where 3 of the 4 home runs have been sent out and over the wall. Been favoring that right side of the field. Johnson more so left. She's gotten a lot of really good hits, but They've been fouled left. Takes the 2-1 pitch, and she fouls this one left. So it's going to be a 2-2 count. Johnson has grounded out and flown out against Emmanuel. Takes the 2-2 and takes ball 3. The last thing you want to do if you're Emmanuel is put a base runner like Johnson on first with the speed that she has. And the payoff pitch. A high fly ball deep into left center field. That's going to be caught by Passmore for the first out. And that brings up the right fielder, Tegan Laval Masonette. Who made a sensational play over there in right field to make a diving catch. Takes ball 1 past her knees. Also getting it done up to bat as well. Has a hit and was able to draw a walk on her other plate appearance. Laval Masonette in her second season with the Nighthawks. Finds herself in a 1-0 count, now a 1-1 count after the foul ball. Tegan started 22 of 40 games last season. Primarily towards the back half of the year. The 1-1 sinks back inside for a strike. Nice looking pitch there from Jenkins to go up in the count. Still looking for her first strikeout tonight. Delivers the 1-2, and this one is absolutely hammered into left, but it's going to be caught back at the wall by Passmore for the second out. Brings up the first baseman, Mary Seal Brumby. Still in search of her first hit here against Emmanuel. She has drawn a walk in both of her plate appearances today. Takes a ball. The 1-0 doesn't quite sneak it inside for ball 2. Takes the 2-0 and hammers one out of play into foul territory. So it's going to be a 2-1 count. That one taking a bounce here in the stands. Nat Haynes and Carolyn Hill. Softball makes its way back into the dugout. Fans not able to walk away with a souvenir here from the Hill. The 2-1 to Brumby. Going to be left for ball 3. Brumby, a fan favorite on this North Georgia team. Takes the 3-1 pitch and takes ball 4 high. And so Brumby has drawn a walk on all 3 plate appearances from her in this game. With 2 outs up on the board, we know what North Georgia can do in this situation. We will try to extend it here with Journey Roberts. And it looks like we may have a pinch runner coming on for the Nighthawks. We got Coach O'Hare making the sub. And it's going to be number 11, Kayla Berry, now on first. Freshman out of Ackworth, Georgia, and East Paulding High School. Doing a little base running here for the Nighthawks late. Roberts takes a big swing at that one, but it gets past her for a strike. Roberts has walked and flown out in her 2 plate appearances. West up in the count 0-2. And delivers ball 1. Got Buffington on deck. The 0-2 pitch, and back-to-back strikeouts here for Gracie West in the top of the 5th. Gives us 2 outs here in this inning. So here comes Gabby Buffington. trying to extend this game for Emmanuel. This one's going to be fouled out of play. Nighthawks won't have a chance to make a play, so it's going to be an 0-1 count. The 0-1 from Gracie West gets another big swing and a miss for strike 2. Pitch has worked well for Gracie West all day long. Delivers the 0-2 and delivers strike 3. Gracie West absolutely sensational here in this game. And that is going to do it. North Georgia wins via the run rule 10-1 over Emmanuel. A big performance from the Nighthawks after being run ruled themselves earlier today by Emory and Henry and off the Gold City Classic with a dominant 10-1 win. In the circle, you got to give Gracie West her flowers. The freshman picks up the win and ends strikeout, her 6th of the game. She was sensational. And then up to bat, it was a flurry of home runs for the Nighthawks. A pair of home runs from Sydney Reeves, one from Carly Knowles and one from Riley Moody to end the game. North Georgia will go on the road to take on Alabama Huntsville in the Rocket City Showcase before being back here in Dahlonega on February 22nd for a doubleheader against Saginaw Valley State starting at 12 p.m. We appreciate all of you guys sticking around with us this weekend on behalf of the rest of the Nighthawk Sports Network team, working hard behind the scenes to make this game day possible. This is Robert D. Clementi signing off from Dahlonega. Your final score from the Hill. North Georgia wins this one big via the run rule, 10-1 over Emmanuel.